Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new life simulation game. This game is called inZOI, and it is made by Krafton, the company that also did Player Unknown Battlegrounds, and it's a Korean company. They now do inZOI, a basically Sims competitor, if you will. In another video, we've already looked at the character editor, and we are now building a house for our beloved character Maui from Moana. So if you're not knowing why I'm taking all the Moana characters, I did talk about this in the other video, but just as a brief heads up, I wanted to try to do different things in the game, and I thought these three characters give me kind of a nice little base story to create whatever we want. And this is the first building we're doing, but in the next coming days there will be more different types of buildings I'm going to try. That will mimic some more of the possibilities of this game to get a better view what we can do and what not. So this is going to be a very simple house, and it's going to be based off of the beach house that we actually own in Spain, where I am sitting currently. I'm recording that in my holidays, so that's a nice little touch, and it's definitely not the same, but it is kind of similar at the end of the day. And this is also the reason why it's a bit of a more, it's not like it's a very average house, okay? It's like a little beach house in a very old residential area here, so it is modernized a little, but honestly don't expect too much from it. And I thought it's going to be a good starting point to see if you can do that, because this game has already some very pretty houses in here, and the stuff that the game comes with is already pretty, let's say, it's steering you into a direction of making it look very modern and super sexy. But I wanted to try something else and make it not super sexy and see what we can do with a very average house. And I want to give Maui a very average beach house. And we are actually on the map, the American map, a new one that you haven't seen if you have followed this game already along on YouTube. There has been some gameplay last year, but this was on the Korean map, and I want to focus my stuff mostly on the American map. Also, by the way, putting that window in, you may have seen how the lighting inside of the house changed, and this is also thanks to the power of Unreal Engine. I want to quickly, before we talk about the power of the building tool, because it is super powerful, I want to talk about the performance of this game, because this will be a little bit of a point for a lot of people. You can find my rig down below in the description if you're interested what I'm running this on. And this game will be relatively demanding. However, and I was super surprised because they gave us the game with an idea of what settings we should play on. And for me that was meant to be balanced, but I quickly found out that I could put it on highest and it still ran very decent, to be honest. So this obviously is sped up, so you can't see that much, so you have to believe me for now, but there will be some gameplay videos in the coming days too, where you will see that. And it's super cool because you can also use WASD to control your own character and move around yourself. You can even drive your own car around, which is super fun. And it still worked. You know, loading the map did take a while here and there, but that's also down to the fact that this is all very early stages. But considering the graphics, they look phenomenal, astonishing. I don't find any words for it. It really blows you away. I'm gonna put some screenshots on in the end, and it just looks fantastic. So that is going to be something that people will enjoy a lot, because this is way more powerful than anything you've seen in The Sims or so. If you see these houses and the interior in here, oh my god, let me tell you, that looks fantastic. And now let's talk about the building tool in itself. Now, it is already super powerful from the beginning, and you can see this. You can literally change anything. You can click on the floors, you basically choose your material, you choose the different tiling, you can change the pattern, you can change the color, you've got a full color wheel to your left, you can switch between the sizes of your pattern, you can choose the direction. Basically everything is multicolor, you know, you don't have to rely on a color palette of 6 colors or so. You know, you have everything is the power of Unity, you know, Unreal Engine. And you can do whatever you want. You can easily copy paste here and there. You can easily do all the things you need to do. The game does show you when certain things don't work, and you can see drawing walls and stuff is like super simple. You have different types of walls. You can see I was using a 3-meter wall in general, but then you can also use this half-inch wall, and you will be able to change this wall relatively easy by changing the height. And I did mess up here and there. You know, that was my first attempt on building, so you'll see towards the end of the video I get a lot more familiar with the game. And there's also like a little bit, it's not not a cheat, but by holding down shift, you override the in-game grid and you can do whatever you want. You can, I didn't find out how you can make round walls. I believe it's not in this demo, but it will be possible later on because, as I said, the other houses in here are all built with the same tools. So that is definitely something to look at. And you can also see some of the houses that you can buy. I did buy an empty property over here, an empty plot, and there will also be houses, for example the one where Moana is living, which you'll see in the gameplay soon. This is a pre-built house and it's ridiculous. There you can also see, you can edit this house, so you can see a lot of these things that have been built, some of which you can't really do right now because it's limited, but you know, you see that it is possible, and that makes me go crazy every single time. I don't know what exactly I did over here. I did delete my staircase, but also stairs is something you can see over here, how easily you can change them. Was so unique, but then again so simple. Once you understood this, you can easily put the stairs in again, and you can then change every single aspect of the stairs. You can get rid of the different railing options. You can change the railing, you can make it full wall, semi-wall. Like, there are a couple of things I would love to, you know, for example, if I look at the stairs right now over here, I would love to be able to put walls on either sides. Like, you can click wall, but then it's a solid stair, and I would love to still have it like floating, but still have the walls to the left and right to make it, you know, workable. Then we have the tiling on the walls over here, and there are some tricks to get rid of the problem I'm going to mention now. But one thing I'm not super happy about is that you need to paint the whole wall as it is, and you have control over the pattern and the colors of the pattern. You can make tiling with, for example, 3 different colors and change how big the tiling should be. That's very nice. But I would love to be able to say, okay, you know, up to the height of 1 meter, I want tiling, and then from the height of 1 meter to 250, there is just concrete, for example, or plaster, whatever. You know, that's, maybe it is in and I haven't found it, but if so, it's hidden somewhere. I couldn't find it. Over here, you can basically nicely see, I couldn't fit this fridge over here without holding down shift, but as soon as I hold down shift, you'll be able to plop things down. It's, as always in these games, then you will have some issues with the interactivity of the items, but if you're just for the looks of it, like I did, you can just still put it in there. And you know, Maui is just not being able to get some food out the fridge. Well, that's his problem then. But yeah, like, so many lovely items you'll find in this game that will make your life so easy to detail the house after your wishes. And just in general, to talk a bit more about the building in here with the furniture, you can see there's already a lot of furniture in, and as I told you, there is going to be a furniture designer, which I'm not even sure if it is in. I guess it is, and I will then make a video about it itself because it is ridiculous. Then you can literally take your desired item you want to have, let's say for example a table, and then it will give you all the different items that are in game already, like all the different legs, all the different stools, all the different you know, upper parts, lower parts, whatever you can imagine about this one thing, and then you can build this yourself out of all these things and design your own furniture. And you guessed it, you can also sell this in-game then to other people. You can put that on the in-game market, or so you can be like, you can become a fashion designer, and I do believe also a furniture designer, but I'm not sure if that was only for the canvas or play with real-life players, or even in the in-game thing over here. So there you can see, by the way, this is the smaller wall I was talking about earlier. You can put in like a little bit of a separation item for the rooms, which I like. And yeah, here we are now designing a little bit of our sofa corner in our beach house. As I said, you know, the house we have with the whole family here in Spain is something that I like a lot, because it is relatively spare, but that's just what you need, you know. It's not like something you need, you don't need something crazy over here. It's just like enough to live and to enjoy, and it's, you know, we've been constantly upgrading it with new furniture and stuff, but you're only spending so much time inside. It's not really that much. You're mostly at the beach or at the pool, so whatever. But you know, it was a good test to see what is possible and what not, and I was just testing a lot of these things, and honestly, I'm still happy how it turned out, even though it's very spare, you know, it's not crazily filled. There will be another build for the Te Whiti build. Is going to be absolutely madness. This one is going to be a very, very beautiful house with a lot of different ideas I learned after this house over here. So this was my learning phase, if you will, and the other ones are going to be my absolute masterpiece, I want to say, in the few hours and days I had with this game so far. So the learning curve is relatively good, I have to say. It's not super steep. And it's also very interesting to see what you can do. Also putting a little chimney over here, because there literally is a chimney, but the one we have over here is made out of the plaster of the walls and stuff. So yeah, and here is something, if you follow me on this channel already, you know that I like to sink in pieces into each other in no matter game we have and create something new out of the pieces available. And exactly this is what I'm doing over here. You can basically push things into each other by holding down shift to override the in-game hitboxes, and you can see I created like a very custom TV rack over here, which we do have. It's like a very old one. We took that from the previous owners. It's not a beautiful one. It's like a typical German mid-90s TV wall kind of thing, and I wanted to mimic this in a way, and you know, it turned out nicely, very nicely. You can't though override everything, so some items are not possible to be overridden. Maybe that's because of the game mechanics. I'm not entirely sure why, but it doesn't matter because it seems like they were relevant for the gameplay. Yeah, I was putting some chairs down, making sure that everything looks nice, and as of now you can't put anything below the stairs, which was a pity because I would have loved to put like a little plant or so underneath the stair area, but again, maybe that's because people need to walk there. And yeah, because it's hot outside, you know, and we are at the beachfront, we need some umbrellas, and you can see there are also some very cool outdoor elements. The plants and stuff obviously look fantastic as it's Unreal Engine. It's what you would expect, so nothing too surprising over here. I am very happy with the result of this entire build, I must say, because as I was learning, it all turned out to be a lot more intricate and detailed and nicely looking than I was thinking at the beginning. I did actually opt a little bit too much for the grid, and I'm sorry for that, but it, you know, made my life a little more simple. But you can obviously rotate pieces 360 degrees, you know. As you can see, I'm plopping down a couple of items here on the table, you know, sitting outside, maybe have a little coffee or like something cool to drink, and then putting some kids elements out here as well. But in a couple seconds, you will also see I'm rotating things very freely because that's just something you can do. Taking this thing as a kid's stool because I didn't find a kid's stool, and I was like putting something down and having like a little hula hoop and a what's that, like a ball, like a beach ball that your character can play with. And then I made the bedrooms, like the kid bedrooms, and the bedrooms for the parents. And obviously I was like, I wanted to move this to the wall, but it didn't work, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna bring the wall towards the bed then by using some of the bigger what's that, cupboards or like furniture pieces, and used the backside of it as a wall, and then just recolored them in a way that they looked as if there's like a little bit of a wall. I don't know, it's just like something I needed to do to get this done. And then I was also doing the bathroom, which is also again a very tiny bathroom. It is very cramped, I gotta say. Like if there's one thing I love to change, this is definitely the bathroom over here. One of the little issues I found is if you are in this specific wall mode, it's super hard to put something on the correct wall, but at some point I was able to do it. And then, like, honestly, this is a bit of an odd thing because normally in the flat the whole wall is a mirror, and I'm not sure if that's possible. I didn't even try if you could use a pattern that is reflective enough, but yeah. Also putting some surfboards down because it's Maui, you know, you gotta have some surfboards. But one thing that is super interesting, and this over here was like a little bug I encountered, there is like a floor on this area, but I don't know why it was in here. And maybe this is the right moment to talk about. We have redo undo in this game, which is fantastic. You know, I'm a lover of this feature, and I can't play games anymore without this feature. So I'm very happy to have this in. As always, Control Z will make your latest action reverted, and the same goes in the other direction. So that is super efficient. If you did one thing wrong or so, you can just easily do that, and having to always juggle this is a bit of an odd thing. There you can see, by the way, putting down a stool a little bit more on the free rotation, putting all these things down was super simple, super satisfying at some point. Once you found out how it worked, I became so much quicker, and you can see this literally in the video. It's not more sped up, I just became a lot more quick. And then at some point I was like, okay, now we're gonna go full Rudi style, and we're gonna sink in a lot of pieces to create new pieces. So this cupboard over here I needed to be a bit bigger, bigger, and so I used two different cupboard elements to create. This one was higher, but I wanted to have the doors being lower, and so I used the lower cupboards and synced them in to make them actually accessible while the big one isn't, and so it still looks the same as if they were usable with a higher cupboard in its general position there. I just literally love that it's possible. Putting a couple of cosmetics in here, and I, here and there I was looking for some HVACs and putting some air conditioning in here because obviously it's very hot. And then this is literally the same position where it is in real life. And then I wanted to put the outside unit to the wall, but it couldn't be wall mounted, which was a bit of an odd thing because normally it should be. So it had to be ceiling or like roof mounted, and so I did. And honestly, the roof building tool is also something super satisfying and pleasant. As you can see, you can just simply draw the roof and just be very meticulous with the building itself and just create whatever you want to create. And you can even make like little connection pieces over here and override the overlapping again with holding down shift, so you can actually do some stuff like that. It was in its general stuff, it was super satisfying. I can't say anything else. It was just in general super satisfying to do. Also, look at that balloon flying over the map. I didn't see that earlier. Very, very nice. And in general, building was so addictive, and at some point I couldn't stop building, and my wife was already, hey, it's fine, it's done, let's leave it as it is. And so I did. But yeah, as you can see, as soon as I got into it, and again, you will maybe, as an experienced Sims builder, you will be now, yeah, but fine, this is a very rectangular, simple shape, everything is like 90 degrees. You're right, this is why we will have another build where we go a lot more into making things round and nice, and making things a lot more different, so you see the power of the building tools. But I've, for my liking, already had such a good time building on here. It was so much fun to create the roof exactly the way I wanted, and you will see now putting down another one over here to hide the HVAC a little bit away, and then put some antennas on top as well. Like, honestly, that was so satisfying to do. We don't even have these solar thingies on top. We should, because making some energy from the sun would be great. But yeah, here we go, putting some photos down of Maui being happy about his new flat. And this is the time where we put some screenshots in. And hopefully you enjoyed this very first build. It is a super powerful build build mode. And if you're interested in the character editor, you can check out my other video I have uploaded at the same time. Thank you so much, Crafton, for the opportunity, and I'm so glad that I was able to check this all out. There will be much more in the coming days, so keep an eye on the channel. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, you should definitely do so to not miss out on any of the future videos of inZOI or other great games like Planet Coaster 2, the upcoming game, and Planet Zoo, and so on and so forth. I talk to you in the next one. Have a good time, and goodbye.